This podcast is brought to you by ONNIT. Go to ONNIT.com and look at the great selection of supplements. If you find something you like, press in code Joey and get 10% off delivered right to your house. Greetings from Podcastville. The joint is brought to you by Freeze Pipe. Listen, it's getting cold out there. Celebrate fall by blowing a big icy cloud in the woods with Freeze Pipe. Just freeze it, pack it up, and rip that motherfucker. Listen, the hot smoke passes through the frozen part, cooling down the smoke as you inhale it. Takes me back to Colorado when I just scoop a little bit of snow, put it in the bong, and light that motherfucker up. I like my Freeze Pipe. Whether it's the bubbler or the bong, those are my two favorites. The bubbler doubles as a pipe. No. Freeze Pop is non-toxic, freezes faster than water, and stays frozen longer. Freeze Pipe cools down the smoke by hundreds of degrees, and now the Freeze Pipe is even better. They've updated their bong so you have 6 independent freezing coils for even better airflow and much easier cleaning experience. I love my Freeze Pipe, period. I smoke out of that bong every goddamn night, and it is fucking tremendous. Your Uncle Joey's taking care of you, so go to thefreezepipe.com. Again, go to thefreezepipe.com, press in code Joey, and save 10% off your first order. The holidays are coming. Get yourself a new bong, pipe, or a bubbler today. Again, that's thefreezepipe.com. Press in code Joey, J-O-E-Y, to save 10% off your first order. The joint is also brought to you by FITBOD. It's hard to find time to work out. FITBOD tailors an exercise program to your goals, equipment, and schedule, and it's easy to work out. Listen, I've never been into exercise app, but this one is tremendous, okay? You open up your FitBod app, and you've got yourself close to 8 exercises, 2 of them being supersets. They have a buzzer on here, a timer, which helps you. I mean, this is phenomenal. Tells you the body parts you're working. Like today, I'd be working chest, quads, abs, and my lower back. It'll come up every day with the exact workout you need to do, tell you about your days off. The videos make it easier to learn a new routine. It varies your routine for you so you don't overtrain. It's way cheaper than a personal trainer, and you can get a full year of personalized workouts from FitBod for less than the cost of one session with a personal trainer. FitBod is easy to use on both Apple and Android devices, and it's tremendous. Keep your workout momentum going. Get personalized workouts from FitBod and get tougher as you do. I'm going to get you 25% off. Again, 25% off your subscription, or try out the app for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/Joey. Again, that's fitbod.me/Joey. That's 25% off your subscription. Only free at fitbod.me/Joey. Again, try it for free at fitbod.me/Joey. And again, it's Thursday, motherfuckers. The joint is brought to you by DraftKings. You're like, Joey, what's going on tonight? Tonight we got a tremendous game. We got Arizona laying 2 points in New Orleans. If you don't have a side, they got plenty of prop bets. And on top of that, Saturday we go into UFC 280 and get closer to the octagon with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the UFC. Today, right now, new customers can bet just $5 on UFC 280 and get 200 in free bets if your fighter wins. Everyone can boost their winnings with DraftKings same-game parlays. I'll tell you what, I like Peter Yan this weekend, and I'm leaning toward my man Oliveira. Come on, the guy's been there 2,000 times. If you bet 25 on the prop bet, you win 60 on Oliveira. Who's better than Uncle Joey? And you can still place a UFC same-game parlay today. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code Joey and throw down 5 on any UFC 280 bet and get 200 in free bets when your fighter wins. That's code Joey this Saturday at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the UFC. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Now go download DraftKings and let's win some motherfucking money. Let's get this party started today. I got a great guest. We're going to be talking about some great stuff. Light that motherfucker.
Hey, how you doing? come on in. Yeah, Joey's in the back.
Check, 1, 2. Welcome to Uncle Joey's Joint.
What's happening, you sexy bastards? Uncle Joey here, the 20th with Uncle Joey's Joint. We have a great guest today, a dear friend of mine. I love her. Her name is Esther Lee. She's a fucking pharmacist extraordinaire. We met through a couple of moms in the neighborhood, and we become good friends. As a matter of fact, she works at a great little dispensary. It's just medical right now, but she's here to talk about a product she put on the market, and I always thought it was a good idea. I don't know anything about this shit, but she's going to educate you to the max. I know there's a lot of nice, pretty girls that watch this show. A lot of women watch this, and I always try to have something for you, you know what I'm saying? But it's tough in my world. But here's Esther Lee to tell you about her new product, which I think is a fucking tremendous idea, and I'll get into it later. It is, break it down for me, Esther.
So the product is Boquet.
Boquet.
It is a vaginal suppository, and it's a healthier alternative to the scented washes and the overly harsh suppositories that's out there right now that's commonly used. Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
That's okay. It's her first podcast. You know, she wanted to come on and talk about the product. I thought it was a great idea because, first off, I grew up in the 70s and 80s. There was no education to let you know about anything. I mean, now they're trying to put all this sex education into schools and whatnot. So sure, my daughter, my nephew, they all learn things that I didn't know in a general area. But when you're a boy, you don't want to know about women's ha-ha. You know, you don't want to know nothing about it. They try to talk to you about it. But it's pretty interesting. As you get older, you know, you hook up with a wife, and then you have a daughter like me. So you need to have some type of knowledge. And I remember when she was telling me about it, because she had a couple different options to do it with. But when we spoke about it, what caught my mind was that she spoke about the pH and all that stuff about the vag. And even if you talk about the men's junk, right? I never knew what was going on. And years ago, I was telling her when she got here, I was on the road, and I worked with a girl. And one night I didn't have any soap, and she came back with Summer's Eve vaginal scrub. And at first it was like a joke. I put it on the loofah and I just wiped my body with it, and I scrubbed around the man's hoo-ha with it and stuff. But that night when I got out of the shower, I got to be honest with you, and I don't mean to creep anybody out, I had a different smell down there. It smelled fresh, and the one thing that stood out was how shiny my nutsack was. Like, it was fucking shiny as shit. So I just took the Summer's Eve vaginal scrub, and I used it for years. I didn't care what anybody said. I just used it for years because I was always very self-conscious of what you smell like down there. I'm uncircumcised, so, you know, you got to keep that shit up, you know. So now when she spoke to me about this for women, you know, listen, you always hear guys who try to be cute and say that they bumped to a chick that had like a smelly hoo-ha or whatever. Women usually don't even know what's going on, really. You know, they really don't. Like this guy that was telling me a story once, this was like his fiance that had like a bad problem and she didn't know. And how do you tell a woman that something isn't fresh? The same way as how does a woman tell a man, hey, your nutsack stinks. You know, you better put some Irish Spring in that motherfucker. So I always think it's a great idea when somebody, I mean, it's the future, guys. And years ago, this started with, remember the vaginal rejuvenation? Like in 1990s, when I got to LA, it was everywhere. They were even giving out vaginal rejuvenations at 7-Eleven. It seemed like they were doing everything. This is what it became. You don't have to go to a place now to take care of yourself and, you know, open up your legs for some woman. It's just, you don't need to do this anymore. You could just do this at home, and this is what I like about this, that And it's simple. There's not a lot of stuff in here, not a lot of chemicals. I was looking at it. You have like sodium bicarbonate or something like that. I'm not good with pharmaceutical names. But it's simple, and this is the future. And I know you want to grow with this, which comes to mind the other side of your work right now. You're not at a traditional pharmacy anymore. You're a 20th century woman now, so you're at a dispensary, you know. So you get to meet CBD, THC with this product.
Yeah.
So that's the future. Tell me about it.
Yeah, thank you so much for just sharing that in your humor. It's making me a little less nervous.
Yes.
But so it's not sodium bicarb, just for the listeners. It is lactose. It's 3 ingredients. It's lactose, and it's just 3 ingredients: lactose, magnesium stearate, and silicon dioxide, and that's just to hold it together. And what I love about this is that so I think the biggest misconception right now is that, like you mentioned, Summer's Eve, and that's a product that's definitely going to help women or anyone that uses it smell better, but it's not necessarily going to help the root cause. And it actually makes us more susceptible to pH imbalances and infections. So that's because good bacteria is a huge topic right now. I'm sure everybody's heard about it with your GI tract, your digestive tract. Yeah, so good bacteria is in our vaginal flora, just like it's in our digestive tract, and it plays a really helpful role in keeping us clean. It's a very self-cleaning organ. So these soaps can actually over-clean, and it'll kind of wipe out too much of our good bacteria, and it kind of disrupts that really important and delicate balance. The cause of odor, which it's crazy because it's something so common. Up to 80% of women experience vaginal odor at least 2 to 3 times every 2 to 3 weeks. And I say that because I just want women to feel seen, and I don't want women to feel like they have this thing that they need to clean, or I don't want them to feel like they're dirty. Because I feel like the word feminine hygiene can sometimes imply that it's a hygienic issue. It's like you're not cleaning yourself, when it's really a balance issue. And what that is, I can get a little scientific, but our flora is lined with our natural bacteria, which is lactobacillus. It's a probiotic. I think many viewers will know what it is. And it also has a bacteria called Gardnerella. And that also, it just naturally exists in our vaginal flora. But when that balance is disrupted, when they're kind of there and there's enough lactobacillus kind of balancing each other out, that's what we would want optimally. But sometimes we are prone to imbalances. There's an overgrowth of a disruptive of the Gardnerella, which can produce these side effects like irritation and odor. So when we know that, it's kind of easier to have, for me at least, when I know the root cause of something, or when I have an understanding, it just helps. Like, I know that there's nothing wrong with me. It's just something, this is why this is happening to me. And that's kind of the information that I'd love to put out there for women. And this product, what it does is it supports the good bacteria. It supports the growth of the good bacteria. So the concept and the angle is very different. It's not about trying to, like, oh, you have to clean yourself, you have to get rid of this odor-causing kind of condition you have going on. It's more about, no, let's support the good things that we already have. The body is very sufficient. The body is amazing. It's very capable of healing itself. But we can always do things here and there to help. And that's what Boquet is about.
It's funny I said odor, and I shouldn't have said odor. That's the first thing that came to my mind. But sometimes you don't even have to have odor. Mm-hmm. It's just something is not right down there, you know, with anybody. It could be a male. Let's not just pick on women here. Male fucking stink too, you know. And I have a gay friend who tells me a bunch of crazy stories about guys, and I'm like, that's why I hate guys, because we're just filthy animals. That's how this whole thing started, because I've always taken 3 showers a day. Like, since I was a little boy, something my mom put into me or whatever. Like I always took 3 showers a day. And sometimes that's not even enough. It could be something you're reading. It could be so many things that affect your area down there. So when I said odor, it was just one of the things. Sometimes you don't even have to have odor to have an imbalance. You know, it'll maybe come out with discharge. It doesn't have to be an odor or something. It could just be. A funny thing happened to me when I was younger. When I was about 20, I dated a girl who was very promiscuous. And I was, you know, I'm a Catholic guy. I don't like promiscuous girls, but she was a lot of fun to hang out with. So I started dating her. And after we broke up, like months later, I had a weird odor. And I'll never forget, I went to the doctor. I didn't know what it was. And he said something to that effect to me, that maybe she had some type of bacteria. You know, I wasn't going to call her and tell her, you know, that's none of my business. Hopefully by then she figured it out. It wasn't like getting COVID or getting AIDS or something like that. So I just felt embarrassed having to call somebody and saying that to them. But it wasn't an odor thing on them. It became an odor thing on me later on with the bacteria. So I've always, and then I went to a buddy of mine caught VD, and I went to the clinic with him one time because he was embarrassed. And once I went to that clinic, I saw a couple weird things in there. And that's why I didn't really like promiscuous women and stuff when I was a kid. I was always like, well, be careful. I went to the VD clinic, and I saw some weird shit in there. So it was very weird in there that day. And when you're 16, it scared the hell out of me even more. So I've always been into that. But by you doing this product, I think you're going to open the door to so many things. I mean, we had discussed like maybe putting CBD in there. How would that change it a little bit?
Well, our brand mission when we were coming up with just the branding was that the vagina deserves to be celebrated for all the work it's done and all the work it's going to do. And I thought that was really uplifting and powerful. And I could see something like CBD just being right in line with that. And not just looking at something that we need to fix, but thinking of ways we can enjoy vaginal care, making it something like my hope is to make vaginal care like skincare, just as normal and just as enjoyable, that women can use something to as a treat, and something that they can add to like their self-care routine when they have their at-home like spa days. And I think something like CBD is right in line with that because it's very complementary and it doesn't make women feel like they have this problem or this smell or like a dysfunctional vagina.
I wanted to run it by you because what I thought was amazing about this product was that there are a lot of people in the sex industry right now. And, you know, with all the different diseases that they say, syphilis is making a comeback. And I mean, this isn't going to help you with any of this stuff. But I'm just saying that you got to keep yourself clean with what's going on in the world right now. You have the monkeypox, all this stuff is coming up. So I forgot what I was going to say to you. I got so stuck up with the, so fucked up with that. But I think even like, yeah, after you give birth, you might have some issues down there. I don't want to keep going back to the odor because it makes me feel shitty for saying it. But there's just so many things that, you know, when a woman goes to yoga, like there's just so, or works out. I've heard so many different stories. I read something about a year ago that you shouldn't, again, we're going back to sex, that women have to be very careful when getting fingered because of the germs on hands. Like, I read this during COVID, like people were concerned about all this shit. So there's so many things that could just, you know, and I don't know much about the vagina. I don't know the mechanics of it. I know how to look at them and giggle. That's it. That's all I know, right?
Yeah, but
when a guy looks at one, we just smile, you know, like we like giggle like fucking idiots.
But I really appreciate your sensitivity around the topic. And
I got a daughter.
Yeah, no, and that's why I was so excited to be here today because I know you talk about a lot of things for men, and it's true. Odor is, and I love that you kind of were sensitive around that topic as well. And just one of the most common kind of vaginal issues that women experience is vaginosis, and it's pretty much when there's an imbalance, when there's a decrease of your good bacteria, and you have symptoms like irritation and odor and discharge. But so this affects up to 1 in 3 women. So 30% of women are diagnosed with this. So there's probably more that aren't diagnosed. And of those women, I think they were saying about 50% are asymptomatic. So we don't even have symptoms, and we kind of have these imbalances. And not to scare people, some people are, you know, not as sensitive to it, but it's just nice to know that these things are very common and this is what's happening. And it's not always going to show up as odor for everyone, but it's just good to know that, especially for women, like when we are prone to imbalances. And a lot of those situations, like I think you mentioned something with yoga. So yeah, a lot of it is just everyday lifestyle things. It's not because you're promiscuous or because you're, you know, it's not an STD. It's not because of anything you should feel ashamed about. It's a lot of it is just everyday things like having your period, or even stress for women. It shows up as an imbalance in their flora. And I think, and I just love that you already, the way you talk about it, it is, I don't know if you're just being so nice because I'm here, but it's I don't think a lot of men view it that way. And it's so issue of imbalances and sensitivity, just like something like acne or like skin sensitivity. Some of us can stay out in the sun all day, or some of us don't barely have to wash their face and they have perfect skin. Me, if I don't do my treatments and stuff, I'm going to start breaking out in 2 days. So I think women have to know that it's just, every body is very different, and we just show like stress in different ways as well. Yeah. So, and I go over this a little bit on the website on like the situations where we are prone to imbalances, and some of them is what you had mentioned. Sexual activity increases our risk. Also just menstruation, semen. So just, and also like hormonal imbalance, not imbalances, but hormonal changes that women go through every month. And that can change our pH.
It's crazy how I go on Twitter and the Instagrams and whatever. And there's a group of girl on Twitter that I met them at the Comedy Store. And she's very cool, funny, crazy. And she goes out every weekend to a different city, like Miami, Houston, Dallas, and they go to a hotel and they have outdoor orgies, and it's like one chick with 4 guys. And every Monday they put them up on Twitter. I get banned from Twitter if I put a picture of fucking weed up there. But this chick is having threesomes, you know, the whole thing. And every Monday I look at what they've gone through. In the back of my mind, I'm like, fucking Esther could help these chicks right now. These chicks put their monkeys through war over the weekend and nobody's wearing a condom. You know, like, and all these things, when I look, nobody has a condom on. I hope they're getting tested for AIDS and anything else, but even without the condom and whatever, God knows what you're putting in your body. And this goes for both of us. This goes for men and for fucking women, you know. I mean, what if a woman has a bacteria issue and a guy goes down on her? You know, this. Or the guy has bad or bad teeth. He has a fucking cavity and he goes down on her with a cavity or a fucking abscess in his mouth or some shit. I mean, these are the things that happen, guys. This happens. It's funny, but this is what happens. Like, there's a lot of sex like that. Like, I mean, and she's having sex with fucking stallions, right? Like, they're not little dick dudes. She's having sex with giants. I mean, I don't even know if your product could help her. I mean, it's like a double, you know. But I like to do a survey with them, and they're gonna be here next week.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I don't think all the ladies are coming, but she hit me up and she's like, "I'll be an exotic if you want to swing and sail." They're very sweet women.
Yeah.
They do what they do. This is what they do for fun. I'm not gonna, you know, I smoke pot and eat mushrooms. They like to go out and get laid at the pool. Everybody has different things, so I'm not gonna judge them. But in the back of my mind, it's like I took a friend of mine, a dear friend of mine, to a rock concert. It was one of Dean Delray's parties. And I introduced her to like Rudy Sarzo or something. And I go, "Felicia, this is Rudy. Rudy's Felicia." And when he walked away, Felicia looks at me, she goes, "If anybody needs conditioner, it's him." And I'm like, out of all the fucking things that you could say about somebody, you know, you're talking about if this guy could have conditioner. So when I look at those girls doing all those things all weekend, which again, I have nothing against them, I think about, wow, they should really be taking care of themselves, because as a man, if I was there at that orgy, I know when I come home, I'd do like a mask, whatever I could do down there to sleep better. You know, a mask, a cucumber on the pee hole, whatever I can, you know, to sleep better. You know how they put cucumbers on their eyes? I was just thinking, what happens if you put a cucumber on a pee hole? But, you know, all that stuff worries me. Like, I'm a fucking prude. A lot of my wife will tell you, like, a lot of my shit is kind of prudish. I mean, I like it. You know, I like sex and stuff. But that's what's always held me back from that sex, was going to that VD clinic when I was 16 and seeing people walk in all fucked up. Can something like this, I mean, with the CBD and everything, well, you were saying, if you do this, you can't have sex for a few days?
No, so this is one of the things I love about this product as well. It's just pretty much, we can think about it like a vitamin for your vaginal flora. So it's really not irritating, and it's not something that you have to give it time to kind of wear off or clean out. You can use it. I mean, there is going to be a residue because it is a tablet that's going to like melt inside. But other than that, there really is no waiting period for somebody. So for those women that do kind of put their vaginas through a lot, this would be something that's great for them, that they can use in between just to kind of replenish their flora. And I kind of want to be careful as I go on this journey with this product too, not to instill any anxiety with people, because I just find that these days, even with myself, because there's so much information on social media, like you start to think you have everything, like you have to, like even like I know it's really good practice to pee after you have sex, but like even these like things, it helps to know it, but sometimes you get really anxious, like, oh my God, what if I didn't, and I'm gonna have an infection. So I just want to remind people that, and I don't want women to feel like, oh, you're so prone to having an infection, like you have to do this. No, like your vagina is very capable of cleaning itself. It's almost, you really don't need to use a lot of these scented washes. And like I mentioned before, the scented washes can make the imbalances worse, if anything. But I just want women to know that if you are experiencing irritation or odor, this is something that can support your flora from the inside. It's like a targeted relief for them that they can use. And I also I know I said this before too, but I really just hope that women feel seen and heard. Because I think the feminine hygiene industry now, I don't think they've done a good job at that. And just especially because a lot of these products, just the fact that it doesn't really help the root cause of the symptoms that we're trying to get relief from.
What made you come up with this product? You were thinking one day and said, you know what? Women need to take care of this shit a lot more.
Long story. So around 2018, I was feeling really anxious about just my career as a pharmacist. I was working in retail. And I think I've learned a lot about my personality now, but I think it's just this, like, I felt really stuck, and I have a fear of that. And when I feel stuck is when I get anxious. So I was I was going over this with my therapist, and we were going through all of these different, like, she was so helpful. We went through all these like personality tests to try to, because I had done pharmacy for so long that I didn't know what else I could do. And she was just trying to help me kind of find out what my strengths are and where I could explore. And at that time, what I wanted to do was something for women in like the bra industry, because I had gone through a lot, as like Christina knows, that I'd gone through a lot with, I had gone through like multiple rounds of like breast augmentation and just taking them out. And I was in a really like a vulnerable space, because while I was healing, I wasn't allowed to wear wired bras. I had to wear these bralettes, and I just couldn't find anything that was appropriate. So I had to make these like makeshift bras at home. And I have this like funny story, because I was bowling with my church community, and I had to like put these paddings in, and when I was bowling, it like came out. And luckily no one saw, but I was just going through this like time where I was getting kind of frustrated and I just couldn't find anything out there. So that's, my therapist had encouraged me. She was like, I think you have something and I think you have like a heart for it. So I think this is something you really care about. And I kind of, and then we went through like with the personality test, how I like to problem solve. So she just really encouraged me and pushed me to start. She's like, you just have to start. Like whether it's researching 3-4 hours a day, whatever that looks like. She was like, that's where I've seen women do it, and they just have to know that they can, and there has to be a beginning. So that's what I was doing. And then while I was exploring that realm of women, and like I wanted to do something that was empowering for women with the bras, but then I started seeing this kind of like lack in the vaginal hygiene industry, and a lot of my friends were coming to me with like they needed antibiotics because I was at a pharmacy. And I was, at that time, I attended actually a longevity conference. And at that conference, the whole conference was about probiotics and good bacteria and just how important it is for us to take it and how depleted we are nowadays. And from there, I started and then I started reading about how we need good bacteria in the vagina. And I just started wondering like how the oral probiotics will help us vaginally. Like, how does it end up there? And it kind of just piqued my curiosity. And when I was at the pharmacy, I was also doing, I was compounding vaginal suppositories for a hormone called progesterone. So it all just like kind of came together, and I started researching, trying to see what else is out there. Yeah, it took a lot of time. This was like 2 years of me just kind of floating around and looking at what's out there. And then I did find a very similar product like this available, but I just hated the messaging behind it. And I just felt like, and I used the products and it did help me. And that's where I kind of wanted to tweak it and make it something that had a different messaging than like, I felt that the products that were out there, I don't want to name any names, but I just felt like it was something that I had to use and kind of hide. Like, it was kind of embarrassing to have. Like, it's almost like having Imodium. Like, I don't want people to know I have diarrhea. So, yeah, I was like, why women don't have anything like this for them? Like, something that they could be proud to use and just feel like they're taking care of themselves, and even display and just be like, hey, yeah, this is something that I use and I feel sexier using it. And that's kind of where my mind was at. And I think in the beginning, I think the hardest kind of step for me was just going for it. Because I'm a very idea person. Like, I'll have all these ideas, but not much
so does everybody.
Yeah. So, but that's how it started.
Pulling the trigger is always tough with an idea, and you're embarrassed. You don't know if it'll work.
Yeah.
Failure is always looming. So it's courageous. You did a great job with it. Now let me ask you this: how would you, in the future, when you add CBD to this product, how would that really take it to a different level? Yeah,
I think so. I think CBD right now, and even I would love to see both, like CBD and THC. We have so many forms of that at the dispensary. We have topical THC and CBD, and patients do really well with it. And I think it can definitely help with women, and just with like heightening sensitivity, and also with women that may have inflammation where it's or irritation. It could help with that too. I mean, of course, we would have to kind of test it out and see. I think that's what's so like exciting about CBD right now, is that there's so much to learn. But I absolutely think that there is a place for it, and it's definitely going to. I think it's something that women will love.
It's crazy. When I got hit up by Manscaped, I don't know, 5 years ago, I was like, this is the fucking perfect product. Like, this is, I've always been trimming around down there, but once Manscaped put it out, I thought it was a great product. It was a great product for me to push in a comical way, because I could get guys to use it. And over the years, like, I had a lot of comic friends. I had a lot of female friends that spoke freely in front of me. And they would talk about guys they were dating or situations they would have. And I would pick up little cues from them and go, okay, I got to double check on that. You know what I'm saying? I better make sure I got that shit. And that's why when Manscaped approached me, I love the idea. I love that they have a tightener for
wow.
Yeah, they have a refresher, and they have like a little. You could put a little thing in your wallet, and if you're getting ready to go to war, you could do like a last wipe, and it's got like pH and all that stuff, so the person you're with doesn't fucking get insulted. So I always like that stuff. I always think, listen, what's this? Isn't there a fucking whatever? Cleanliness is next to godliness. So I always was extra like, and then I got heavy. So I'm like, man, when you get heavy, you smell like cheese. So I would take even more showers, and I would like shove in between like creases and stuff. And I've always been very, I don't like being dirty. Like, I don't know, especially your private parts. So when you came up with this, I think with Manscaped and this, I could cover everybody's world, like a little bit. I mean, women trim themselves and they go for Brazilian bulge or whatever the fuck they do. But what is that called? Brazilian blowout or something?
I think it's a Brazilian wax.
Brazilian wax,
yeah.
That's what it is. And that takes all the hair out.
Yeah.
The blowout is when I blow with a blow dryer. It looks like fucking Michael Jackson.
Yeah, I've never heard about that.
Yeah, it doesn't work. Yeah, it doesn't. You got to add some humor to this because it is a very great product, and I'm happy you fucking put it together. I'm happy. I've known you since when you were struggling to put the pieces together. We went up to the dispensary. And I'm happy you put it out. Now, how can they find this?
Right now, our website, you can go to our website. It's withboquet.com.
With?
Yeah.
Boquet.com. Yeah. How do you spell Boquet?
B-O-Q-U-E-T.
Okay, the regular one.
And then you can check us out on Instagram. It's the same handle. It's with Boquet on Instagram.
All right. This is going places, man. I have a funny feeling about this. Now, you were saying when you came in that you wanted to cover the dispensary stuff that you're doing also.
Yeah.
Because this matches in the middle somewhere. This meets in the middle.
Yeah, no, I just, I always have an appreciation for just the timing and when I met you, because that was when I was interviewing for the dispensary, and I wasn't sure, if this was something that I would be good at. And I remember Christina, who is our mutual friend, she was so encouraging, and she was just so kind enough to introduce us. And it was after I met you, I truly got so excited. And I think that's what helped me to just like nail the interview, because that excitement just showed through. And it was like very
We were talking
sincere.
about CBD and the different uses of CBD.
Yeah.
And what I thought, like CBD by itself has a great result, but if you wanted to really kick up a little bit, a little THC, that's why they have like that 1-to-1 balance, the one I have in the drawer. So we were talking about that stuff, and I really believe in CBD. I think because I'm a bigger dude, it hasn't, like, it's just changed some people's lives. I work with CBD Lion, and they have great CBD, but the tinctures and stuff help me with my anxiety. And they help me sleep a little better at night. Like whenever I take my tincture, my REM sleep, I'll hit REM sleep at least a little better, For my shoulder, I put the cream on, and that's fantastic for my knees and stuff. It gives you great relief. I just don't want people to think that if they have a bum knee and they buy CBD, it's going to fix it. That's what scares me about all that stuff. It's like when I have sleep apnea, and nothing bothers me more is when I see sleep apnea products, like not sleep apnea products, but products that are a shortcut, that are not going to help you.
Right.
They're not going to help you. It's just, you just drop $50 on something, just go get the fucking sleep apnea machine, I hate all those intermediate products that give somebody hope. Yeah. And they're like, fuck, I still got the sleep apnea machine, you know, so.
Just over-promising.
Yes, and this keeps it simple. Like, I don't want people to ever think that, well, I'm going to have sex with 20 guys, put one of these things in, and I'm healed, It's going to take time to balance and rejuvenate and whatever the fuck else. It's the same thing for a man, if he lives like a fucking animal and then comes home on Monday and he's got a bump down there. What happened? Well, you were with 20 women, you know. That's not going to help you. The thing around it will help you, but at least this will make everything feel a lot better.
Yeah. No, and that just, thank you for bringing that up, because another important note is that there is a role for gynecologists and antibiotics. I think sometimes, like, and that's what I would want people to know too. Like, if you have an infection or if you have recurring symptoms, definitely get it checked out. But if you take antibiotics, one of the side effects is that your flora might need some replenishing. Like, it could wipe out all the good bacteria too. So that's a great time to add something like Boquet and use it like after your antibiotic treatment to help you restore your good bacteria again.
When women are on antibiotics, what happens? They can't do something. There's something I heard when I was younger. Like a friend of mine was on antibiotics. She couldn't do anything for a couple of weeks. I forget. It's a little different for women when you take antibiotics or something. Oh, you got to eat yogurt.
Oh, yes, the yogurt.
Yeah, women have to definitely eat yogurt.
To eat yogurt for the good bacteria. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's crazy because I'm taking amoxicillin now, right? And I was like, the other day, I was like, man, I've been going to the bathroom regularly. My stomach is not bothering me. I started taking this product called Armra. It's what they give you. It's what's in a mother's milk when she first feeds you, colostrum.
Okay.
And I guess in some countries they use colostrum as a...
Like a supplement? Or
it's a supplement, but it's also you can't use it for some stuff because it flags on your pee test.
Oh.
It's considered a enhancer.
Oh,
wow. So I have the other stuff. It's a company called Armra. And it's so weird. They have over 200 nutrients in this stuff.
Where did you get it?
A friend of mine from California, a woman trainer that is legit, called me. Like, I've known her since college. And we reconnected in Los Angeles 10 years ago. And when I met her, she was just one of those girls that I used to go, this chick has the worst fucking job in the world. She would change guys' socks in the football field and tape their ankles and all that shit. She was one of those girls, but she was also a strength and conditioning coach. And I guess after her stint at Colorado, she told me she stayed in Boulder for a while and trained some people. And then she went out to L.A. and she started training, like, you know, high-end executives and stuff like that. But she calls me when she thinks something's going to help me. She wanted to check in. And she goes, you should look into this Armra. It's $109 for maybe a 3-month supply. It's like just a thing. And you only put, when I tell you, you put 2 capsules. You're supposed to start with 1 capsule. And then the more you know, as it builds in your system, put another one in. Beside this cold and this migraine headache,
it's been helping.
I feel fucking great. Like, I feel great. And I was reading up on it before when I started taking the antibiotics. I go, I got to get some of those 2-ounce prebiotic things. And I'm like, why? This thing says it's going to be great. And I got to be honest with you, it's great. It's worked perfectly. I'm down to 1 more antibiotic, then I'm done. And let's see where the fuck this takes us. But I've been starting to use more probiotics. And I started last year. We had a company that sponsored us for a while, Magnesium Company. And they were really good, this company. We just didn't do well with them, so they went away. But I started using their products, and I could notice just in the probiotics how different I was feeling. You know, shit that you eat, maybe it doesn't agree with you. So now I'm a believer in them. So when this Armor came up and they had it in there, I go, just give it to me. And I'll tell you, I feel a lot better. Like, I feel a little thinner. It lays down the inflammation. It takes off a lot of inflammation. And it's basically whatever, the colostrum.
I've never heard of that, but I'm very interested.
It's whatever's in your breast milk when you first feed your child. Like, once they take them out of you and they bring them back and they take to the breast, boom, that's the first dose of milk. And it has, like, a lot of antibodies in it. It's great for colds and stuff. You just got to read up. I'm no fucking doctor, but probiotics had made me feel a lot better last year, and I've been using them now consistently, so that makes fucking sense. I didn't know that you had to use them in conjunction with something else, but it all makes sense, little Esther.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely notice a difference too when I use them. Like sometimes I have gone, like I go on and off, but every time I do and don't, I definitely notice a difference, especially in my skin, which I think is really interesting. There has to be some relation with your like gut bacteria.
Nothing will help my skin at this.
No, I think-
I've had shitty skin since I was like 5. I got one summer in Miami, I caught like sunburns on my arm, and it went all the way down. Like it was like 3rd-degree burns, and then I played like, I don't know, basketball when I was 7. I went to take a shower at the place, and I came back like the worst foot fungus. Like I had blisters and pimples, so I wasn't allowed to take showers in the fucking gym no more. I couldn't take a shower with boys. I couldn't do it. I didn't have a regular. Well, I don't want to take a shower with boys anyway. You know, this ain't no fucking whatever. This ain't no disco. But I had all those problems coming up, and then as I got older, they went away. Tuesday, I'm going to the longevity center. And it's a whole day of needles, and I'm excited about this because I'm going to turn 60, and the medical, I don't know what's going on with doctors and what's going on in the world now. Every time you call your doctor, it's a 4 week for an appointment, and this is the second time I've called her. I'm waiting on 72 hours for a call back.
Yeah.
So somewhere along the line, the medical profession has just buckled somewhere. I want to make sure that everything is all right with me, so I'm going to go in there, give them blood. I'm going to do the whole thing. I think you check in at 8 and you don't leave there till 4:30.
Oh, wow.
They feed you 2 times. It's a lot of money. I saved some money away in my little Acorn account.
But it's worth it. I think that's awesome. I think that's a great investment.
Listen, man, you invest in yourself. Yeah. I mean, it's not like I'm a kid anymore. You know, I have a daughter. I want to be here for her for a few more years. I want to be here for my wife. These are our golden years. So I'm going to go down there. As much as I don't like fucking needles and I don't like paying a lot of money for my doctor stuff, just got to go for it and go in there. And it's men's health. This is what, this is what we're doing right now. We're trying to, I had a rough life. I did drugs and shit. I've been clean for 15 years. So I don't drink. I don't do anything anymore. Not because I'm in the program. I just don't drink. But I just felt it was time. This is thorough. I haven't had a prostate exam in 4 years since with the pandemic and everything. Yeah. I haven't had chest x-rays. I mean, nothing. These doctors have taken more and more away from the physical. Like when I went to a physical in LA, and that dude was busy as hell, but he would do chest x-rays, a prostate exam. You know, he would talk to me about different stuff and look at my throat and look at my ears. The last physical I went to, Esther, was so fucking bad. I was like, what the fuck? No chest x-ray, no prostate exam. She took my weight, my blood pressure, and asked me a bunch of questions. And she's like, you're free to go. And then they drew blood, and they read my chart, but that's not.
It's very in and out. It's just an exchange.
Very in and out. So, like last week I had to actually go to urgent care. I couldn't even see my doctor. I had migraine headaches. I can't fucking breathe. And she's like, I don't know what to tell you. You don't know what the fuck to tell me. I mean, so I don't know what's going on with the medical system in this country right now. Ever since COVID, somewhere along the line, it's kind of broken. I hate to say that word, but yeah, this is we got to start taking care of ourselves a little more and go outside the box. I don't care if you go on ExpressVPN. I don't care if you go on there and look at the internet, the dark web, for stuff like this that could help you.
I don't know if I can
I'm not saying this is going to be on the dark web. What I'm saying is that there's a lot of products that are great for you out there. Yeah. People don't have access to them. They're small companies like yourself. You don't have a big budget to go on NBC and advertise on the fucking World Series and shit like that. So we do what the fuck we do. But I'm happy you put this together, Esther. And I want you to come back every time you add something to this.
Yeah, I would love to. And this is like the baby steps right now.
Yeah.
This is like so fresh for me, like beginning this journey. So I'm just so grateful to be here. And
I'm grateful that you're here. Remember, Esther, little steps become big steps. It's so weird how we have a job, but in that job, we always we have a dream. And you look at your job and you go, you know what? It's too late. I have kids. I have a husband. I don't really have time to do what my dream is. But, man, you did it. You know, some people don't have the time. You made it work for you, and I think this is the beginning of a lot of good things for you, Esther.
Thank
I
you.
think from this, you never know. You might open this up. Fucking Summer's Eve reaches out to you and gives you $10 million to shut the fuck up and get out of the market. Go sell weed, they'll tell you. Now you got $10 million and you're living like a doctor. So little steps become big steps. And I think that this little step was big for you. Now you're ready to do, and then you call me up and go, hey man, I cut my hours at the pharmacy by 10 hours, then 10 hours, then 10 hours, and pretty much you're doing this full time. Yeah. You know, so.
It's a journey. It's the beginning, but.
Just that you did it, and that's all that counts, man. I'm really happy that you did it. And this is how we do it here in the church, on the joint fucking church. I gotta stop eating those fucking mushrooms. For you people who want to know, I did not get the role I auditioned for in the De Niro movie. It went to a name. Who gives a fuck? I was there, baby boy.
Yeah, that was too cool.
They put my picture on the wall. That's all that fucking matters. I got to meet Barry. I got to read with Robert again. That was great. And this is part of the deal, guys. You keep going to them, and eventually something sticks on the fucking wall. Listen, I'm 0-4 on my last 4 auditions. That's not me at all. I usually, if you send me out, I could pop one thing. So that means when you get a bunch of no's, that you're just closer to a motherfucking yes. Exactly. I love no's sometimes, because the more no's you get, you're going to get a yes somewhere fucking along the line. And that's it, man. So that's where I stand on a beautiful fucking Thursday morning. Short and sweet, no drama. Esther Lee came on, talked to you about Boquet. I can't see without my glasses. It's just fucking Boquet. There you go. And it smells good in here. Can I smell it?
Yes, it's sealed.
Let's smell this.
It's unscented. It doesn't have a fragrance.
It smells like a pill.
See?
But there's no fragrance.
So you just put this? That's
You
it?
insert
One?
it. Yep, you insert it about 1 inch or 2 to where it's comfortable. Let it warm up to your body temperature. Let it dissolve.
And I got an idea for your podcast. The podcast you're going to start for this stuff is going to call Esther Lee's Vagina Party.
I love it.
You're going to put a little cake with those fucking lights in it that explodes like on your birthday at Osteria with the things. And that's going to be the name of it. I think that's a great name. You're empowering women. And I think this is needed right now in the podcast world. So Esther Lee's new podcast coming soon is Esther Lee's
Putting it out there.
Vaginal Party, Jack. You know what I'm saying? Fucking kazoos, whatever.
Yeah, you can coach me on how to do that.
Yeah, you could do it yourself. You just did it. Just come on every week. You just come on every week, Esther, and give information. Doesn't have to be funny.
Yeah.
It just has to be you and correct information, so you don't end up on Spotify giving out bad info and shit.
Yeah, no.
And I think it's a great idea, Esther. I think this is ready. You're ready. You have great guests. You have our fucking matriarch,
Yes.
Christine Murdo over there,
She
fucking
is
Miss
the best,
Pharmacist
yeah.
herself. And I think it's a great idea, Esther, because you just told me about what you wanted to do, and I'm like, yeah, this is Esther's Vagina Party. Once a month, fucking on YouTube, just draw a bunch of your friends to come over, you drink some wine, and you insert a bunch of these, and see where it takes you. You know what I'm saying? Fuck
Put
it.
a sheet mask on.
Yeah, some cucumbers on your eyes.
Yeah.
How you feeling? I'm feeling great. I'm not feeling
Yeah.
anything. I've put 2 in there so far. Well, I'm happy you came on and
Thank
took the
you so
time.
much
Esther.
for having
Thank
me.
you. Again, tell these savages where you can get this for your girlfriend, your wives, anybody, your grandma. You know, grandma walks a little slow. Maybe this will put a little pep in the fucking step. You know what I'm saying? Grandma hasn't seen no lights since the Nixon administration, so.
Oh, yeah. So please come check us out. Our Instagram is with Boquet, and our website is withboquet.com.
And that's it, and that's that, cocksuckers. Uncle Joey loves you. Today is short and sweet. We'll be back Monday morning, tip-top Magoo, for Halloween week. Stay black. I love you. And now for a motherfucking word from our sponsors, Jack. All right, you bad motherfuckers. I want to thank Esther Lee and a Prolate Bouquet. And I want to thank you guys for the support. It was short and sweet today. No fucking drama, okay? The joint is brought to you by FITBOD. Listen, It's hard to find time to work out. FITBOD tailors an exercise program to your goals, equipment, and schedule. It's the easiest way to work out. This app is tremendous. I don't know if you've ever used an exercise app before. I haven't. But this app has blown me away. They have videos to make it easy to learn a new routine. So if you don't know the proper movement, boom, you click on that button, it'll tell you. It varies your routine so you will never overtrain. It's way cheaper than a personal trainer. You get a full year of workouts for less than one training session. FITBOD is easy to use on Apple and Android devices. Keep your workout momentum going. Get healthy for the new year. Start today with FITBOD. Get personalized workouts from FITBOD that get tougher as you get tougher. I'm going to hit you with a 25% off your subscription when you try out the app for free. Joey, what are you talking about? You can try it for free when you sign up now at fitbod.me/Joey. Again, fitbod.me/Joey. That's 25% off your subscription, or try it for free at fitbod.me/Joey. The joint is also brought to you by Freeze Pipe. Listen, you know I like smoking reefer, and I like to do it nicely, comfortably. Why not out of the Freeze Pipe? You freeze it, you pack it up, and you smoke that motherfucker till your eyeball pops out. The hot smoke passes through the frozen part, cooling down the smoke as you inhale. I love Freeze Pipe. It takes me back to my days in Colorado where I just go out in the backyard and put it up, but this is completely different. Freeze Pipe is non-toxic, and it freezes faster than water and stays frozen longer. Freeze Pipe cools down the smoke by hundreds of degrees. Now, Freeze Pipe is even better. 2023, they've updated their bong, so you have 6 independent freezing coils for even better airflow and a much easier cleaning experience. So listen, Uncle Joey's always taking care of you. Today, it's with thefreezepipe.com. Press in code Joey to save 10% on your first order. The holidays are coming. Take care of yourself. Get yourself a new bong, pipe, or bubbler, or get all fucking 3 of them. That's thefreezepipe.com. Press in code Joey. I'm going to save you 10%. And listen, the weekend is upon us. The holidays are upon us. And you still haven't downloaded the DraftKings Sportsbook app. What the fuck are we talking about here? This weekend you got UFC 280. You're going to get close to the octagon. You're going to feel the fucking sweat. Right now, new customers can bet $5 on any UFC 280 fight and get 200 in free bets when your fighter wins. Everyone can boost their innings with DraftKings same-game parlays. What's that, Joey? You pick 2 things and you bet them. You want to boost your winnings? The more legs you add, the more money you win. So place a UFC same-game parlay today. You're allowed 1 per day. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code Joey. Throw down $5 on any UFC 280 and get 200 in free bets if your fighter wins. That's code Joey, Joey, this Saturday at DraftKings. But the party starts tonight. You got Arizona -2 against New Orleans in the prime game of the week. That's code Joey. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and let's get this party started. They also have a fantasy app that'll make your fucking pubic hairs jump out of your fucking asshole. Minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. Now do me a favor. Download the DraftKings app and go win some motherfucking money. I want to thank DraftKings. I want to thank FITBOD. And I want to thank the Freeze Pipe for another great week of podcasts. I also want to thank my girl, Esther Lee, for coming in and talking to us about a new product. You got to change it up from time to time, guys. Why not have a fucking genius come on the show? I love you guys. Have a great weekend. Stay black. And I'll see you guys Monday morning. Tip top magoo.